So I'm coming to you in all my no makeup, dry shampoo glory to do a real like video on overwhelm, on dealing with feeling overwhelmed as a mum. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sinead. I am a blogger at thisimplemama.com, and I blog about homeschooling and motherhood and child training. And I'm currently, I don't know, what would you say? Can you see? Not really. Like 27 months pregnant, we'll say that. And so I'm feeling a little overwhelmed because my physical capabilities have definitely changed and my mental expectations have stayed the same as they were when I was much fitter and capable. And I think that's one of the main reasons that overwhelm can arise. And that is because our physical capabilities and even our mental capabilities, sometimes if we're going through a stressful period, can change and fluctuate, but our expectations for ourselves and what we should be capable of doesn't meet that ebb and flow of what we are actually able to do. And so we can get overwhelmed. But for me, I get like a serious case of overwhelm. And it's usually when I'm having another baby or there's something changed where I realize, oh, my season of life has changed. You know, either I have now older children or younger children or different phase of life. And I have to catch up with that. My mental expectations for myself haven't caught up with my physical expectations of what I can actually do. And you start to get overwhelmed with the old expectations, usually being what you can no longer meet. And so you don't feel that crush hot. Hence why I'm just gonna do this video. I'm standing in my dirty kitchen. I'm literally waiting for paint to dry here behind the camera. And I thought, well, I'm doing this, I'm dealing with this, and I'm going to share what I think it is, what I think causes overwhelm, and how I fix it. So the causes of overwhelm are essentially that, yes, your physical capabilities no longer meet your expectations. And when that happens, you feel overwhelmed because you have an expectation of what you should be able to do. But for some reason, whether it's a seasonal thing or an outside thing or a family thing or an emotional thing, you're unable to meet them, you know, physically for a time. And so you can feel overwhelmed because you feel like you feel like you're failing, you feel like you have just too much to do, you feel like you just can't possibly achieve anything, and it gives you this horrible feeling of just, you can't do it. And it's not a very nice place to be. So one of the first things that you want to do is understand where your capabilities have to change to meet your expectations, and also where your expectations have to change to meet your capabilities. And I'm so pregnant that I'm puffing just talking. All right. Now, so what you want to figure out is, where are your capabilities not able to meet your expectations? That's step one. So what I like to do is to analyze my season in life right now. So your season in life has characteristics. How long is it? Is it going to be for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, or a year? Is that how long this season is going to be? Me, as an example, my season's changing and I have to sit down and honestly analyze, okay, how long is this season of me being less capable than usual really going to last? And being heavily pregnant is going to last for the rest of this pregnancy, and it's also going to last for at least 3 to 4 months postpartum, like, to be realistic. And so this phase is probably going to go for 6 months. And that's being optimistic. So I have to there make choices to set myself up for 6 months. I don't want to set myself up to just have control for a day or a week. I need to set myself up to have control for the next 6 months, and that means that some things in my daily life have to change. And so I will talk about those changes later in the video to help what I'm doing to help me get there. Another thing that you want to address is essentially as well, where your capabilities need to change to meet your expectations. So this usually is a little bit confronting, I find, because it means that you do have to work harder even though you don't feel good. But we do have certain expectations in our lives where we need to meet those expectations. So, you know, I need to be here for my kids. I need to be emotionally stable. And so I know that I need to take steps in my life, like getting up earlier than my children, in order to reach that point and be able to keep it up. So it means that, yes, I do have to set an alarm and get up at least half an hour to 45 minutes earlier than my children, even though I'm tired. And it may seem counterproductive, but I know that it's not, because I know that it's what I need. So you have to work on things. Another huge thing that you want to analyze is, how much are you distracted? Phones, and if you have things that you're doing on your computer, they can be a huge distraction and a huge time waster. You really want to make sure and try and figure out how much time you're spending on your phone. If you have social media, if you have Facebook, Instagram, even Pinterest or any other of the social platforms, they can be huge time wasters. And what I like to do when I'm feeling overwhelmed and I think, okay, I just don't have enough time in the day and I'm just so overwhelmed, I can't take it all, is usually as I sit down and analyze, well, how much time am I spending on my phone? As overwhelmed people in general, we have two reactions. We have one, which is to be super reactive, and it is to be every time that you see something that needs to be done, you try and get it done, and you end up just running a rat race and you can't get it all done and you still feel like a fail and you're so busy and you're not really getting anywhere. So that's the reactive reaction. The other reaction is to just feel bad and avoid everything, and I tend to do a little bit of that. I tend to look around my house, kind of hate where I'm at, not feel good mentally, and so I choose to distract myself. So for me, a big thing is deleting Instagram, deleting Facebook, deleting Pinterest, even making sure I don't have Netflix or anything on my phone. I make sure that if I'm going to sit down and watch something, it's in a time blocked zone that's appropriate. And I'm not going to be bringing my phone along with me as a distraction, which makes me not very available to my family, which makes me sort of more and more looking for that distraction, because unfortunately it is that addiction process. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, you really want to address how much you are focusing, how much you're using your phone and your screens, because I think that's a really big thing that, you know, women didn't have to necessarily deal with like 20, 30 years ago, but we have to deal with it now. So address that one. Now, the next thing that I always like to do is to, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, is to make a to-do list. But you want to make the right to-do list. You don't want to go through your house and make a to-do list of every single thing that you need to get done in the whole entire house. You want to always break your to-do list down into two or three parts. So the first part I like to do is only a to-do list that I'm going to get done in this day. And then the second part of the to-do list I like to do is to know that I'm going to do a to-do list and I'm going to time the things on it that I'm going to get done. So for example, if I choose to declutter a certain area, I'm going to make sure that I set a timer on my phone for 25 minutes. I want to make sure that I can get, and I'm going to actually do that and then stick to it and then stop when the timer goes off. It might seem counterproductive to do something like this, but when you're overwhelmed, you can tend to just really invest into one single task because you're desperate to get it done. But what's really going to happen to you is that you're just going to get lost. When you do emerge from that task, you may feel good for a little while, but you've usually neglected something else that was really important to do that day as well. And so it can leave you feeling like you did well there, but not well anywhere else. And so I find that the best thing to do is to make a to-do list of 4 to 5 things that you can get done each day and to put a time limit on each one that you're going to do. This means that as well, because you have a set timer and because you've usually chosen a time when you can actually make that timer without distractions, it means that you're probably going to be able to finish that job more effectively and quickly than if you didn't do a timer and choose a time when you could do that without distractions. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, make a to-do list, but make it only for the day and make it for only 4 or 5 items that you can actually realistically achieve. When you do this every day and you're able to achieve the items on that list, you really mentally, it actually picks you up from your funk that you're feeling, and you're actually going to realize that you can control your environment again. It just means that you need to monitor your distractions, start timing yourself, and work effectively. And we all need that reminder every now and then to be able to get ourselves back on track. And I think that doing a to-do list that way really helps. So now I'm going to talk about some of the things that I actually do to get myself out of overwhelm. So I've talked a little bit about my to-do list kind of way of doing that. I've talked about how you have to sit down and manage your expectations versus your capabilities and know what season of life you're in. The next things you want to be able to do are mostly physical, because if you're feeling overwhelmed, then usually it's because you have lost control of your environment. And my environment, and most of us, our environment that we lose control of is our home. And so I want to talk about some of the things that I do, that I take myself through, that I have like a checklist of things usually have to be done at least once a year in order for you to be able to keep track of them. And one of them is washing. Washing in my house. Seriously, I could have a mental breakdown just from the washing. I can't. The washing situation in my house drives me insane. And I know I have 5 children and 2 adults to wash for. So yeah, automatically I'm going to have a lot of washing. Like, yes, I know this. But I probably do between 4 and 5 loads a day, 7 days a week. And so what's that? That's around 30 loads a week. Like that's a lot. When I say that out loud, oh, all right. Well, so one of the things that I have done is cull, and my kids weren't too pleased with me, and it was actually really hard for me to do because, you know, you always feel like, well, what if they need that? What if I miss that? What if they want to wear that? But I finally just bit the bullet and said, that's it. I cannot manage this much washing. It is controlling my life. And so I figured, you know, and so I culled. And when I say I culled, I mean, I really culled. I went to town. My kids' clothes, they have 2 of each cut. So they've got 2 pairs of tracksuit pants, 2 shirts, 2 jumpers, 2 jackets. They have 1 pair of jeans for leaving the house in and 1 nice shirt to leave the house in. They have 1 basket of socks, which is shared, which they have to share because they're all odd, because that's another thing that I can't control is even socks in my house. So I've tried to come up with systems with that. I'm trialing one out at the moment, but see how that goes. But while it was difficult at first, this is a table of washing, but this is all my washing. This is it. So once I put this table away, I've got 1 more load on the line for today, and that's it, I'm done. So I have completely changed my washing, and it is so worth it because I also know when a new baby comes along, I'm going to have a whole lot more washing again. So that's one of the first thing that I do is I go through my kids' drawers and I cull. And it took me a fair while. I just chose to do 25 minutes a day. So I was usually just focusing on 1 child each day. And I just did that for a week. And by the end of the week, I had successfully culled my kids' clothes and culled my washing. Another thing that I'm in the process of doing is the same aspect of culling clothes is culling my dishes. I have too many dishes. You might think, well, you have a large family, you need a lot of dishes. You can see, look already, if I show you, if I take the camera off, you can see I have a lot of cups. I'm not getting rid of my cups. I got to think about cups. I got to think about cups and I got to think about jars. So I'll keep them because I'm not ready to release those. But I will cull my dishes. I used to be really into like the whole pretty like mismatched prints and I really do like that. But there's a kid calling my name. Yes, what is it? Shh. But they just don't really work. I mean, they do work. They're fine as a dish. But I've just decided to replace my dishes. So I haven't actually got them in the mail yet because we've got some serious like delivery issues going on. But and especially these ones here, which when I bought them, I thought were going to be a great idea, and I just love the idea of eating a salad out of them, but they don't fit in my dishwasher very well. Like you put like 3 in the dishwasher and the whole dishwasher's full. So they don't work for me. So I had to acknowledge that such a simple act, such as just buying, I've got on order 5 plates and 2 adult plates, 5 bowls and 2 bigger bowls. Like that's it. I have 5 children and 2 adults eating, so that's all I'm going to buy. And so soon this will just be a very neat pile of just enough dishes for all of us, and that's it. This is going to mean that yes, I will have to rinse dishes sometimes, but my kids can all rinse dishes themselves. They're all old enough to do it, and it means that my dishwasher will never be over full, and I won't have to always do hand washing as well as loading the dishwasher. And it just means less to manage. And so I have been hanging on to these dishes for years now, and it's not working. So another step that I like to do is to just walk around my house and go, what is not working for you? These simple little things. It is such a simple thing to go, the shape of your dishes doesn't even fit in the dishwasher properly, so why you have them? But just do it, because it's going to just help those everyday lives. We're always, as mums, we are always in the kitchen. I am always doing the dishes, and I may as well make that as easy for myself as possible. So it just makes sense. Another thing that I've done, which I will show you, is that I have created cleaning caddies. I have thought about doing this for a long time, and I think I did have baskets at one stage. Samuel, shh. I think I did have baskets at one stage, but that didn't work out. Now I have these trolleys, which cost me like $30 from Kmart, and I have all my cleaning products in them. And so far I've had this going for about 2 weeks, and it has worked really well. I have everything that I need. I use Enyo, so I only need the cloths and then a spray bottle. That really helps for a cleaning trolley. But I just have all my kitchen stuff and drying off stuff in the top. Two things that would drive me insane was that, one, all my cleaning products were constantly in the wash because I had so much washing that it would take so long for things to cycle through. So I never had anything. And two is that I kept them in dinky little drawers, which were hard to open, hard to keep organized, and just annoying. So every time I went to go and clean a basin or clean a toilet, which needs to be done almost every day, then I'd be, oh, I can't find this and I can't find that and I can't find the spray bottle, and this, you know, it was just constantly irritating. So it doesn't seem like a big thing, again, kind of like the dishes. But when you're in a constant state of overwhelm and you just feel like everything that you go to do is frustrating, having a cleaning caddy ready is really helpful. So that's definitely my tip number 3, which doesn't have to be make a cleaning caddy. It's just help yourself, help create systems, help yourself to be able to do things. I hope that isn't too loud. That's probably really loud, but anyway, help yourself be able to do things quickly. So create systems wherever you can that helps you. So if it means keeping cleaning stuff in the bathroom, do that. If it means having a really good odd sock system because it overwhelms you, do that. If it means culling your dishes, do that. If it means batch cooking a couple of times a week instead of cooking every night, do it. Do things that you think, this is going to work for me. You know, I'm going to be in this season of life for 3 months, 6 months, maybe even longer. I have to start setting myself up to be able to manage this and to be able to be enjoying this season of life, because you can enjoy every season if you take the time to set yourself up for them. Okay, so another thing I want to show you, which I think that if you can do this, if you can make this possible, it will definitely change your life. Maybe it's great to have even if you're not overwhelmed, but if you are feeling overwhelmed with keeping up with your home, then this is definitely something that you want to try and achieve. And that is that I have achieved through culling a lot of my excess stuff. I can clean every room in my house except for the kitchen in around 5 to 7 minutes, and it's usually around 5 minutes. So each room in my house just doesn't get the opportunity to get really dirty, not because I'm always cleaning it, but because there just isn't enough in that room to be able to make it really dirty. So I can go through and I can actually even do a kind of clean where I can wipe down my couch, I can spot mop floors or mop floors altogether, I can even wipe windows, I can dust in 5 minutes. And this means that if I block schedule a 25-minute clean in my afternoons and mornings, it means I can get to the bathrooms, the toilet, the lounge room, the dining room, and the hall in one morning. And then in the afternoon, I can either just repeat that if I need to, or I can work on other rooms in the house. So if I show you my lounge room, I mean, it's basic, it's not fancy, but this is as untidy as it gets. So there's a few pillows on the floor, there's a blanket on the table, there's a few DVDs out here. Over there, I have my whole books and school, where we keep our school. So that doesn't get very untidy. I can always just walk over there and in a few minutes completely reorganize that. And here in the corner is, it's a bit bright, is my nook. So this is where I have my coffee in the mornings, or when I have a cup of tea in the afternoons. I have my sewing in that cupboard, any books that I like to read. And so that's that corner. That never gets dirty. And another thing that I really want to show you, which I will take off, is my toys. This is my entire children's, so 5 children's worth, except for Lego, which is kept in my older boy's bedroom. This is my toy collection. So you can see it is not much, and that shouldn't be in there. You can see that it's not a lot at all. And if you can get your toys down, so this is a biggish basket, but it's like only a quarter full. And the most things that they have in here is some toy animals, the magnetic blocks, which are my kids' absolute most favorite toy, and a large wooden set of like a wooden train track. That is it. And so even when this toy tub in the public space of my house, so it's not in a bedroom or where I have to clean in kids' rooms, it's here in the lounge room, I can still clean my lounge room in 5 to 7 minutes. You can see the same goes for my dining room. So I'm showing you my dirty house, but you know, The same goes for my dining room. If I just change the brightness. The same goes for my dining room. You can see it's really minimal, and so it's just not hard to clean. I can get in here and do this in 3 minutes, and it'll be clean and tidy, and it means that when the children go to bed for their quiet time and it's time to sit down, that the house is clean, and I can clean it in 15 minutes, and I can sit down with a cup of tea, or sit down and go, or I can go outside and garden, or there's something else that I can do. Then I don't have to be stressed that I have to come inside and tidy a really messy house. Another thing that I really encourage, especially if you're a mum, if you've got young children or even older children, or a mix of both at home, and it's really hard when you're feeling overwhelmed and when you're feeling just stressed out or you're not feeling good, to be able to still give yourself, to your children how you want to. Because, when you're not feeling good, the whole family is going to feel, how you feel. You can start to project that. It's pretty impossible to be stressed and not feeling good for a period of time, and to not pass on that feeling to your children and to your family. So a thing that I like to do, and how I usually live anyway, but what I really make sure that I'm sticking to when I'm overwhelmed, is block scheduling. Block scheduling can be as simple as knowing that your morning block from when the children wake to when they have lunch, or to when they go to bed for the afternoon nap, or when that afternoon, for me, when I have my afternoon quiet time, that stage I am 100% there to serve my children. I homeschool with them, I read them books, I play with them, we do chores together, I talk with them. There's no distractions, there's no screens, there's no earphones, there's no TV. And we exist in the home together, and I am always just open to them. And then if I need to, so that doesn't mean that I'm not getting anything done. It doesn't mean that we're not doing any chores, or I'm not doing anything that I need to do. But it means that I know that it's going to be okay to be interrupted, to not finish things, to talk a lot, to give a lot of instruction, to hear a lot of questions, to maybe just go for a walk and go pick flowers, even though it's not something that I wanted to do. It's something, it puts me in the zone, so that every day my children still get the time and dedication that they need. And I can still feel like, okay, once this morning block is over, even though I'm not feeling good, I can work through my daily to-do list, which I have timed. I can work through, decluttering my home and creating some systems so that I know that I can control my environment again, so I don't feel overwhelmed. I know that I can have some time to myself tonight because I've time blocked that. I know when I can, if you want to sit down and watch Netflix, I know when I can sit down and relax. And so by time blocking these things, by writing it down and time blocking it, but by time blocking it in your mind as well, and going, in this block, my desires don't exist. My desires, and then there's time blocks when your desires do exist. So that's a really good way to just keep emotionally afloat as a mum, because when you're not feeling good and you're trying to get yourself out of overwhelm, you still need to just be able to be there for your children. You can't be taking a break from them, and you can't be, you can take a break from other things in motherhood, but raising your kids and being there for your kids and being emotionally stable for your kids is important. So that is something that you definitely want to factor in. So that was my sort of tips and ideas for dealing physically with overwhelm. I do have a PDF which you can download and keep on your computer or on your phone with the step-by-step process that I go through. It is what was in this video plus a lot of extra stuff. And so you can keep it on your phone or somewhere, so that when you feel overwhelmed again, or if you're feeling overwhelmed now and you want to work through it, it gives you a list of questions to ask yourself. It gives you a list of ideas of things that you can do, and it gives you a list of just motivation and things that you can try and conquer. And it does keep you accountable, because it is going to ask you, what are your distractions? How much are you on your phone? It's just a really good way for you to keep that, somewhere where you're going to keep that on your phone or somewhere, and every now and then you can just answer the questions into a diary or into a notebook to just assess how you're going. So if you want to get to that download, the post that I have on coping with overwhelm as a mother is linked down below, so just click on that post and then you'll be able to sign up for the email, which will give you the free download straight into your inbox. And so for today, that's it. I hope this video helped you. This is the steps that I have been taking this time around in my overwhelm. You know, it's steps that have definitely helped me, and it's steps where I am now feeling, you know, I am due in 6 weeks, and I am very much embracing now slowing down. I feel like I have control of my environment again. I feel like I have emotional control again. I'm feeling ready for this next season. And so if this video helped you in any way, please like it, because it helps me to reach other mothers who may need to watch this. And so I'm Sinead from thesimplemama.com. I post on my blog and YouTube both once a week on homeschooling, motherhood, and child training. So you can check those out. You can check out my channel. And until next time, bye.